Okay. What up? Test it. Mic check 1, 2. To bring this down a little bit. Bring this down a bit. I see you, Dr. Short. I see you, Randy. Give me 1 second. Oh, you got to put your headphones on or something, bro, because I hear you in the background. Hold on 1 second. Let me just bring everyone to the stage because this is just a separate a duo or actually this is more than duo, it'll be quad production. I have my man Dr. Randy Short and I have the homie Dwann B
What's
in the
up?
building today. What's up, y'all?
What up, y'all?
We blessed. We blessed. Dwann B blessed. His friend Tachina Arnold sent me the sweetest email. My God, this and Jaguar, you know, I must have died and went to heaven last night. And two of the finest, singingest Black women that I really respect stuff they're doing, and they writing broke ass, sick ass me. This is God. I mean, let me get my tambourine out. Oh,
Classic Dr. Short.
That's Randy. That's Dr. Short for you. What's going on, Dwann?
Oh, nothing much, man. How's it going?
Man, everything is everything, man. I'm just sitting back laughing at the world right now, man. As far as why everybody is kind of up in arms about the situation with Jaguar Wright receiving the Defender of Freedom Award. So I brought you guys on. I said, look, let's talk to Jag. Jag will be here in a few, but I said let's talk to Jag because as you can see, hold on, let me go ahead and pull this up as we are speaking. The title of today's show, in case everyone wants to know. Hold on.
And can you turn the sound up some? I want to make certain people hear this.
Can you hear me? You hear me? You
yes,
got me?
I do. Just get just a little bit more. It'd be wonderful. Just
Okay,
a
hold
little
on.
bit.
Okay, let me adjust what I need to adjust. But here we are. Let me check this out. I was just saying the title of today's show. Why is it not? Okay, maybe it's just that. All right, how about now? You hear me better?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, cool. The title of today's show. We have it right here. Did the Black community turn on Jaguar Wright? This is her at Mar-a-Lago. They some people had things misquoted or disinformation. I'll just say it like that because they said Jaguar Wright was at the White House and she received a Freedom Award, and that wasn't the case. She was at Mar-a-Lago. She was at Trump's residence, and she received the Defender of Freedom Award for being outspoken and for, you know, was it just saying she basically like I'm gonna tell. That's pretty much
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are low key afraid of that because it's like, you know, it puts them on the chopping block to a degree. But it was a great night, and everyone, I would say, there are certain people who were up in arms about the whole situation. Let's just go to an article that was it was on the site. What is it? Madame Noir. It was on their site. Said shit about what a day after. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to share this. I don't know. How do y'all feel about Madame Noir and that publication or that website?
That's a Gossip Girl site right there.
Yeah,
like,
I don't like any of those.
They're a shit starting site, and like all things, there's good and there's bad, you know. But it's one of those sites where if they like to take that slant of salaciousness, you know, and with someone like a Jaguar as outspoken as she is, I don't see a site like that spending too much time being positive over anything that she does, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
My turn.
Yep.
What
you say, Dr. Short?
It's a bunch of pork chop feminist coons who stand for nothing, and basically, what are they? Chlamydia pitch women? I mean, name a social cause that's important to Black people that those whores are standing 10 toes down for. Reparations, our children and child and family services, the fluoridation in the water, all these cancers everywhere. So, you know what? It's a bunch of boule holes. That's how I feel. And, you know, forgive me. That's why I said something to Dwann. I was angry the other day. Dwann knows I get mad. All of a sudden start saying something. Because, you know, I want to cuss on how y'all dude out there who said some stuff about Jag. I don't know who he is. I know I don't like him.
Who's that? What are you talking about?
I don't know, something that came up, and he wants to come up in the business. See, Jaguar's changing she's changing the ladder of success. You can't just drop your jaws or your draws anymore. You're going to have real talent to make it. Something she already has and has demonstrated for 20 years or more. These other people have been able to use corruption and deviance and sexual networks to represent themselves as artists when they're just deviants who like music. They're basically coon hippies.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're mad about Jaguar. There are a lot of people who didn't mind a sex toy in their rear end as long as they got some chances to chase clout or to go to a freak off or get some of the baby oil or some pink cocaine or whatever. That's who these people are. And I don't respect any of them. And so Jaguar's right, they're wrong. And I'm going to say one more thing and I'll shut up. This has really agitated me because she's the third person from Philadelphia who has spoken up, and I don't want them to destroy this one. They destroyed Paul Robeson, who died in obscurity in Philadelphia. They destroyed C. Dolores Tucker, a friend of mine, and I think somehow we related. And now I find out about Jaguar saying many of the same things C. Dolores Tucker stood on. And now they're going to get her too. Back then, I couldn't do anything but watch them destroy Mrs. Tucker. Now this time, I said, damn it, I'm going to fight this time. I want to act out and show people that, as I said to you in our first conversation, I don't know what I can do for this sister, but I agree with her. There's a lot of molestation and abuse. My experiences in the church, okay? I'm sick of this. I've been sick. I had to run from people as a 4-year-old trying to rape me in church. And you see these people up on the pulpit and all this stuff. And then these people want to attack her. What about all the people I know, people, my peers that died of AIDS or just a little older that got molested in churches and all? And they, you know, oh, we don't know why he's like that, why he acts so feminine. And, oh, well, he's sick. I saw a lot of people die. I'm angry. So when I finally heard this lady, it says, oh, my God. Look, we have a little small group. We've been praying. Mrs. Kelly, we've been praying for a Black woman to stand up. For a Black woman, that God give us another C. Dolores Tucker. And God, he delivers from Philly of all places. And when I saw this thing, I said, you know what? I feel like fighting because I'm going to say this. I made the boule angry when I was a student at Howard. I exposed a lot of stuff, and I'll keep doing because I don't care about coons. I hate the boule. I hate all of y'all, and I want to destroy you the same way Jag wants to bring people down because all you've done is hurt us. You're enemies to God. You're enemies to our race. You're enemies to the people not even born. Attention, okay, that's how I feel about it. And so when I say to you, they tried to destroy me at Howard University, and nobody would help me. The only help I got was from Senator Lindsey Graham. Can you believe that? The only reason I have a doctorate is because of Senator Lindsey Graham. I mean, nobody Black would help me. I mean, my all the stuff my parents have done, grandparents, the only person that would stand up to those coons, Lindsey Graham, and then made them retroactively give me financial aid For the year that I got driven out of the school, they tried to throw all my papers in the street, tried to accuse me of drugs, everything, to kick me out of school because of stuff I was involved in, right? And the Republicans saved me. I wanted black people to, I tried. Certain black folk have never stood up or fought anything to find out our greatest enemies are those amongst us. Dr. King was assassinated with the collusion of black people. Medgar Evers was assassinated with the collusion of black people. Turner, Goodman, and Swaney were assassinated with the collusion of black people. Malcolm X was assassinated with the collusion of black people. Mark Clark and Fred Hampton Sr. were assassinated with the collusion of black people. We got a lot of traitors, and they make it seem as if they're speaking for black people, and in reality, they're the, I don't know, the copper tone faces of white supremacy, and their tongues are brown because they lick white folk anuses.
Yeah, he's right about that. Like going into something. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Going like because Dr. Short, he talked about it from the church angle. When I saw Jaguar, because I've been a fan of hers ever since she came out. She came out in that era, when that last era that was making live music with live sounds with real singing, late 90s, early 2000s. The era I'm talking about. Since then, they, for the most part, scrapped R&B, the industry. And so, for years, I didn't know, what was going on with her. And I ran across her once at the Mavericks Flat decade plus ago. But I didn't ask any questions because I'm not, I wasn't going to sit there while people are getting loaded like, hey, But when she came back out on the internet and started talking about the industry, the way black people, and anybody know me know how pro-black I am. The way black people responded, because the issue that we have a very strong immaturity when names like Jay-Z come up. Jay-Z, LeBron, Michael Jordan, you say these names, black men go into a tizzy. You say Beyonce, black women, too many, not all, but too many go into a tizzy. And now I'm going to just when I talk, this is not everybody, but we all know this is the loudest. We're speaking amongst people who are the loudest. You say these certain names, they go into a whole tizzy. It's a problem. And the things that she was saying about the music industry are the reason why I never got all the way into the music industry to begin with. Because, I played the drums in church for 20 plus years. And, when you play in church, you play around everybody. Your bandmates in church play for Earth, Wind & Fire. This horn player played for Earth, Wind & Fire. That bass player played for Stevie. Lady over there sang background for many. So you hear the stories. And I made the conclusion when I was 18, that I'm not going to do it professionally. I'm just not, I just too much. Yeah. And so when she started talking about the things that she was saying that goes on, people are like, oh my God, not my favorite singer. Beyonce steals music. And it's like, for a lot of people, they're like, huh? And I'm like, a lot of the things that black folks are mad at her for saying, I encourage everybody to pick up this book, Hitman. It's out of print, but you can still find it by Frederick Dennin. This is just one of hundreds of books that talks about the debauchery within the music industry. In this book, it's talking about a lot of the backhanded things Clive Davis would do. Dick Asher. It's talking about all of these, some of the suspected murders that the people who ended up dead. And this book was written in 1991. And these same people who are saying Jaguar can't be telling the truth, this was written before some of these artists that she's talking about ever got a chance. This is before certain booty holes was puckered. You dig what I'm saying? That she's talking about. So this is just one of many books. I probably got about, I got so many more of it. I don't want to spend the time looking through all the books that I have on this kind of information. But that information that Jaguar is putting out about what goes on in the industry, these are open secrets. You know what I mean? And so I tell people, believe or not believe. It's not, on me to tell people what they should and shouldn't believe. everyone should have their own filters. I'm just a pattern recognition kind of person. I recognize patterns. The pattern, I don't know personally if any of the stories Jaguar Wright says are true because I wasn't there. But the pattern, when you understand what goes on in that industry and when you understand certain dynamics, if I am a Jive Davis, I'm going to use the word Jive. And my name is Jive and my last name is Davis. And I have all of this power and money. And I have the power to hire people. Who am I going to choose between these 5 people? I'm probably going to choose somebody that's going to see me do something and not say nothing. Because it's not necessarily about the music. It's about the music industry pushing a particular stereotype, a particular agenda. They already, Jive Davis was already part, if you read Don't Know Things like the Harvard report, he's already suspected to be part of the destruction of black music anyway, when they took the background singing out, when they took the live instrumentation out. He's already suspected to be a part of that whole thing. So when you get to Puffy and Jay-Z, we're down 3 decades into this man's career. Now he has the power to do certain things. Somebody who went to jail. I'm using him as an example. There are way more people that we can talk about right here.
And I want to interject.
So when she says some of these certain things right here, it's a rhythm that rhymes, and people don't, need to just understand. If you understand the industry, the things that she's saying, the people that she's naming, their names have been coming up in this kind of stuff for decades.
And Dwann, I want to say, I'm talking about the church, but you have to understand, you aren't talking about the church unless you're talking about gospel music.
Yeah.
So my parents are gospel music musicians, and I know on some of the gospel people are nastier than the pop people.
Hey, I'm not gonna argue that. I'm not gonna argue that.
So that's no. Oh my God. I had someone, I was singing, and this person basically, I'll be your accompanist, but I get to accompany your dick. And this is, I can't do this. I mean, it just can't. Just over and over again, to the point where I don't like to go. I don't want to be involved. You quit, because people, if you say you're a gospel musician and you're male, people assume that you're more broke back than the mountain, and so it's assumed, or that you're available, or that you're cool with it. I mean, I'm saying to you. Let me go back to 1972 when they were just opening the Kennedy Center, and I'm on the bus with the Howard University choir, and one of the guys is just screaming about all the people he's screwing on the bus. I'm 7. And I'm like, my God, how long is he going to say all the people he screwed?
Wow.
And I'm 7. And me and one of these tricky queens from Howard University's Fine Arts School, I went for it on his ass on the bus. I got slapped down by my dad because, man, I called the little punks out on the bus because this is ridiculous. And I'm a kid. Why'd I have to hear about how much cum you got in your guts?
Oh,
and it's like, God, I mean, I have candy in my mouth. I mean, why are you doing, And everybody started ducking. So, I mean, basically, whenever people would see me in the Fine Arts building, they would run. They're afraid I was going to call out who was what. And my thing is this, I didn't care about the guy being a punk, but just why did y'all have to flaunt it? I mean, make people drown in your nastiness. You get what I mean? Yeah. It's like we don't know that different people have different strokes. Of course people do. I'm a kid and you just keep doing this. And look, if I grew up around Howard, then I know all the damn gay code language. I'm like, dude, please shut up. Until I can smell your ass back here. I'm near the back. The bathroom's right here. I don't know. So I got
no.
But I don't know, because, and that's gospel people. I remember Edwin Hawkins and them when they had Oh Happy Day, like the #1 gospel record in the world. And the people hated on the Hawkins so much, nobody would let them have an organ when they came to town. And my dad had to pay to have his organ, his Hammond, shipped to them. So they would have an organ because people were jealous and this, that, and the other. So I just seen ugliness. I remember my dad talking to Matty Moss Clark, how folks will have you travel from out of town as a gospel musician or speaker, and then the folks don't pay you. Record you, keep the tape, lie on you. I mean, these folks will steal your clothes and stuff while you're out of church. You basically have no way to get home. The gospel thing is so dirty until popular music is better. And I and Jag may have a gospel background. A lot of us, the church thing is so dirty. In fact, my big brother is like conducting 4 choirs and orchestras, and they want to pay him $400 a month. 6 choirs and a 40-piece orchestra. And when he was getting evicted, wouldn't even take up an offering for him to keep his home. And they fired him for wanting to get paid.
Well, that's short.
That's what I was about to do. I was like, let's bring Jag in.
Let us well.
Got Jag here.
Well, no, I mean, Dr. Short is talking, and I just wanted to get a little closer. You know, when they tell the story time at Sabbath school or in the church service, the little kids get to come up front, and they get to sit there at the altar, and they get to have a special moment. So this is what this is for me.
Hold on one second. I think we got something going on with your background.
What happened?
Okay, I'm trying to fix something because it sounds like something's going on with your mic. But long story short,
it might be too close to my mouth.
No. It's in another electronic device near you or something.
Oh.
That's what it sounds like. Okay, all right, that's better. Yeah. Well, I was like, I know Dr. Short was talking about church, and I said, that would have been a perfect time. It was a perfect time for Jag to come in because I know she has a lot to speak on in that department. And speaking of, when we were talking about Black community turning its back on Jag, if that's the case or not, I think we had a sermon. I was trying to. In fact, I'm gonna pull it up. Of who was it? Jag. What's his name? Pastor. Who's the pastor? I gotta lay hands on. Pastor Bryant. Somebody needs to lay hands on him.
You mean Pastor Panties?
Hold on. Let me help y'all. Let me help you. You know he got run out of Baltimore in 2019. Okay. Yeah, in the street. I mean, we talking about crackheads and addicts attacked him. I was in Baltimore when it happened. Okay. And, you know, his mother looked like Bullwinkle. She just died. Now, and see, and okay. And so, you know, screw Jamal. And it's alleged, you know, Jamal's got enough sugar in his tank to be Cuba. I'm not saying he does. It's alleged. And is it true that he's got a crook in his penis? He made some porno look like it's a question mark.
Hey,
Doc, come on, man.
Well, I mean, the thing is the only way Dr. Short.
I didn't say he did. I'm saying it's alleged he put it out there. I don't know.
It's alleged,
I'm not looking for it.
And he got it from somewhere else. But the thing is, clearly more than one person has said it if Doctor heard it. So.
That's true.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard other things.
I have too.
But the thing is, his taste in women, I find it interesting.
Well, his taste in women is sometimes allegedly underage.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Well, you know, the thing is when you're used to having a tight interaction, you know, you might want to keep it tight.
Yeah.
I have a poem called F My Community, and the stanza goes, you got a little girl, and I'm going to get mine early because I don't want it to be too curly.
That's
wow. That's
you know, when I knew the church wasn't crap when it came to that, and it's crazy. I'm actually doing my documentary I'm working on right now is about the gospel roots of pop music, and so you know, so it has a lot of good. So I don't act like it's not all good, but when I realized it was probably worse in the world in some ways, I was 16 years old playing the drums, and there was a church I used to be on King Boulevard, Wolfgang, you might remember, called Maranatha. It was right by the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza.
Yep.
I played at a different church. I played at Zoe Christian Fellowship. So I'm 16, 17, and I'm playing at Maranatha. And I had just played my first gig in the main kind of room. I played the Whiskey and Go-Go with some older band. I had to rush in and rush out.
I remember the Whiskey.
You remember the Whiskey?
I do.
Right?
Whiskey.
That was on Hollywood Boulevard.
On Sunset.
Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The Whiskey, and then you had the Coca Banana.
Yep, all that right there. All that right there. Viper Lounge. And so I'm young. I played the Whiskey. You know, the musicians were accommodating. Hey, man, do you need my ride cymbal? You good? I can use my pedal. I'm like, all right. The next week, I go to play at Maranatha for like one of those church where there's a bunch of people playing. I go to get on the drum set. The old dude was like, hey, get my snare. I don't want that nigga playing my shit. This is like right before I went on stage. I'm like, hold on. The white boys of the Whiskey is cooler than the church folks. I should have known then what I was in for the rest of my life playing the drums at church. It was a different animal when it comes to talking about dealing with what you deal with in the industry.
You gotta understand.
Go into the main. Go ahead.
I gotta tap in because see, people, everything that you guys are saying is one thing. I know it as somebody who's been a band leader, a musical director, and hired a gang of church, musicians throughout the years. When my cousin Jay left work at my gig, it was to go and work at the Potter's house.
Oh God.
And he ain't been right since.
I believe it.
Now, the thing that I've learned is the reason why a lot of these mom and pop churches do what they do is because they sell it as, you're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be using your gift for the Lord. You're supposed to be sharing your gift for free. So anything that we give to you, it is a blessing because everything needs to go to pastor to keep the congregation going, because we have to make sure that our man of God has everything he needs. And you're here right here, right now. And you came here to share your gifts with the Lord. Ain't nobody give you this gift but God. And if God want to take it, only pastor can pray you back to it. You gotta pray. I'm telling you now. Now here, take this $20 and going over there to McDonald's and tell your mama we'll have you back next week.
Yeah. Pretty much, Jaguar. But see, that's a fraud. The whole thing about money in the church, it's as corrupt as the music business, because if you really understand what the Bible says, musicians are ministers, and you're supposed to share the money with everybody that works, not just one person. But what the church is it's basically a Ponzi scheme for predators and liars.
I love that. Can I be a little more ignorant?
Yes.
It's the construct of how we teach the community to embrace the relationship between a pimp and its hoe. The biggest pimp in the community is the church and the pastor. And the most faithful bottom bitches are the deaconesses and the choir directors. and as pastor goes about doing whatever he like in his congregation, he has a whole wall of spirit workers around him to keep everybody in line.
Hey, Jack, can I interject something real quick? Because I know people want to talk about, okay, why are you guys talking like this? Let me tell you why this is coming up the way. I guess spiritually why this is coming up. People, you got to understand, people, music is God's direct access to your subconscious.
Indeed.
Your subconscious 90% of your brain activity. So the way we act, the way we move, from our hair growing or not growing, everything, whether we go left or right, instinctively comes from the subconscious. And music is the key that unlocks the subconscious. Sound is the only sense that we have that's involuntary. So you cannot choose whether you hear nothing or not. And those beautiful chords that are played in church, those beautiful rhythms with terrible lyrics like "Don't move the mountain, I'm going up the rough side of the mountain," and then you get that spirit inside of you, and then from that spirit you get people that you trust because you do it as unto the Lord. You come in with good intentions. You come in with faith. You come in with all this stuff that you're coming in with, and now you have this music to go along with it. Music, when you have that level of responsibility as an artist, as a musician, it has to be honored. It has to be treated right. And the people who have been the vanguards, the people who have been the gatekeepers of this from church through the industry, they've been corrupted. And they've used God's greatest tool to teach us and to soothe us, and it's God's greatest healing mechanism, music, and they've corrupted it. So no matter how people feel about it, whether you're in church or not, we got to talk about this because all this shit got to get cleared out. Music is pure. Yeah, music is. Is there anything better than a song? And we have these people using it.
Let me listen to me. This is what they call. See, I'm getting excited now. This is what we call back in the day building. You know what I mean? When we be sitting on the street corners, Islam style, sitting there just talking for hours, sharing truth. I love this. This is fabulous.
Hey, Sister Jag, and Brother Dwann. Let me do a disclaimer. I normally don't do it.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, shit.
A disclaimer.
Wait a minute. Let me duck down.
Dwann B's commentary on the rough side of the mountain is his opinion. Okay, Dwann, those are my cousins down in North Carolina. I don't want to have to fight at the family barbecue. Okay, what's his name? Barnes. The Barnes that's like my second or third cousin. So I don't want them to beat me up saying that I got with Jaguar and dogged them. So I have to say, that's Dwann's opinion of I'm coming up the rough side of the mountain. I'm doing my best to make it in. Okay, that's my cousin. I don't want any fights in Elm City or Wilson, North Carolina. Normally I don't punk out, but that's like close to one. Attack someone else, please. I gotta go back down.
I only use it as an example because like the Lord told us you can move the mountain forest. Why I gotta go up the rough side? The guy said I could jump over the motherfucker.
well, hold on now. See, you gotta understand. Everything you gentlemen are talking about is triggering me to have memories of my childhood. You know, before my mother got with my dad, when she was an unwed mother in the church, her and her sisters used to go to gospel concerts all the time because they were raised in the church, supposed to be Christian. So you can't go to secular music, you got to go to gospel concerts. But I didn't realize until I was older when I used to hear my mom and them talking and laughing and giggling about Richard and them from the Mighty Clouds of Joy. Never did I once think that they was all groupies I didn't know they had gospel groupies.
They do.
I didn't know. I didn't know, and no, more importantly, I didn't know that my mother and her sisters were those chicks. So it really kind of, you know, what every time they would start playing the Mighty Clouds of Joy, and then my aunt Debbie, who we call Fifth, and the reason why we called her Fifth, General, I'll make it quick. When she was in marriage counseling, the therapist asked her something and she pleaded the fifth. So just to give you an idea of the sociopathy of this person, Fifth was like the main one on Richard. And then my mom, she would be like the stand-in. Like if they had an odd man out, my mom would come and kick it. So after my father died, they did a reprisal of their gospel hoeing on tour. And I'll never forget, they got down there to the hotel and then they flew over. It was a mess. And then my mom, she called and she was like, I can't find my bags. They left me at the baggage claim. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I tell you one thing, if they don't get laid on their own this time, I'm not coming to help them. And I said, you know what? I'm done.
Jag, my sister, I just want to know, are you guys Baptist, Methodist, or Apostolic, Holiness, Pentecostal?
Even worse. Seventh
Oh,
Day
shoot.
Adventist.
Oh
Oh
shit!
shit!
Okay, that's
The
part of
reaction from both of y'all was
my
like,
that's
Because
my
they
family
heard
too.
Brian McKnight singing in the background.
Whoa!
Wait a minute.
uh-oh.
The
Uh-oh.
matriarch, the matriarch of my family is SDA, and
See?
I love SDA. But the thing is, this is no fun and no food.
Yeah. Well, no, there's food. It
I
all
know,
comes from Loma Linda, and it comes out of a can or a jar.
it's kind of hard. I was saying to someone, I have some fried shrimp upstairs, and I'm just thinking. I told someone they were trying to recruit me to be SD. I says I can switch from Sunday to Saturday because fewer assholes gather on Saturday for God. So I could do that. But I might need my shrimp, oysters, lobsters, and clams. You think God would get on me for liking scrimps? Because we need our shrimp and clams, and that's part of our culture. But no, SDA, that's rough. My adopted grandmother was Irene Morgan, who's SDA. And I have a bunch of SDA. And look, Pentecostal is almost as bad. I call them apostolic.
Oh no, my aunts grew up apostolic. I'll never forget when my cousin knocked out the minister because he had just got home and they came to bless him, and he kept busting everybody upside the head. The bishop, when he come through, he get to slap everybody. And I'll never forget one time he laid hands on my aunt and her pearl necklace and her wig came off at the same time. I've never seen such a grab. It was awesome.
This bishop that died here, Bishop Ralph Green, I remember one day at the church is called Free Gospel, but there was nothing free. You had to pay for everything, trust me. The only thing free was that you could get in, lock the door, and shake you down. But let me tell you, he told the people everybody had to speak in tongues. Everybody go speak in tongues. And he was a former boxer with a big fist. He had a fist like two grapefruits put together.
Oh yeah, that's a knock you out blessing.
People line up to speak in tongues. And they got up on this one old woman that says, you can't speak in tongues. And they put the microphone in her face. And I don't know, the woman got nervous and she said she hated Jesus. And with his big fist, with that steel microphone in his hand, he punched that woman in the head. She went down. Everybody in the church started speaking in tongues after that. Just give me some Japanese manufacturers. Toyota, Honda, Hyundai.
My cousin was with
your mic. Doc, hold on. Your mic. I don't know. Oh, okay. There you go. Something's going on with your mic. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I said he punched her in the head. She went down.
Oh, we heard that.
Oh yeah, but so we started shouting Japanese and Korean automobile manufacturers because I want him to just get back with that microphone in his fist. Please don't punch me. I'll say just about anything. Hooker, something. Da 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 da.
Yeah. Okay. Listen to me. Sometimes you got to get the bishop first.
Yeah, like Jaguar
did. And he got arrested right then too at the church after he whooped his ass.
Hey Jaguar, I got a question for you. What's more competitive and cutthroat? The church music industry or the industry music industry?
I mean, they're the same. The that's why they call it inspirational music now, because they know that they can't hide that this ain't got nothing to do with the Lord.
Well, we call it sinspirational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. These fools, listen to me. I remember when our choir director got caught having an affair with the minister while she was still married to the African prince. And then she was with the minister, and then the African prince had a little one of those cassette recorders in the bedroom when they was at his house, and they left church and they were supposed to be getting the music together for the program. The only music they was making was "I'm Me So Horny, Me Love You Long Time," And so then he got the recording and heard all of that. She's sitting there talking about, I'm not even going to take a shower because I want the blessing of you all over me when I walk back into the house of the Lord with you.
Mm.
He had taken it and he decided to play it on the PA. Her husband, the African, he played it on the PA in church and cursed the church and told everybody that the pastor had been screwing his wife and that he wished he was still Muslim so he could unalive them both.
Ooh.
Oh, hey, by the way, hey, Jag, one of these stupid people that's a so-called patriot, is making a comment, and some of these stupid people, and I don't care. It's interesting that all these people can try to destroy Donald Trump for years.
Right.
And people can forgive them when they're white. You make a comment once, and these folks, and the racism comes out where they think they're going to try to destroy. I just blocked that person, a patriot girl, whoever she is, or racist girl. Stay off my channel. I don't tolerate that. In fact, let me just get back to what we were saying. We can do the music. In fact, Jag, I'm wide open. It's kind of lonely when I don't do shows with Dwann because a lot of people don't have any thoughts, ideas, information. They don't read, and you have to carry the whole show yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to try to make people laugh. It's exhausting. I don't like doing it sometimes, thinking you can't offer or give anything, and people think that you can't let another person speak or that you've got to be the center of attention, which I don't. But like you've got content. I mean, you've got mountains of content. You could be like the Andes, the Appalachians. A lot of the people don't even know what to ask you half the time. I'm thinking, why do they always ask the same lame things? Can't they ask thanks for letting me know you came up SDA, because I was wondering, we have a lot of stuff in common, and in my family, I don't know if you ever heard of a kid named Russell Zellers, a tranny performer. They used to go up to Philly. You ever heard of a boy named Russell Zellers?
That sounds familiar for some reason.
That's my cousin. He got molested by the church pianist SDA, and nobody knew. Oh yeah, they got that in SDA too. And
I know. Trust me, I know.
And by time someone found out, they blamed him for it. And so when I talked to my auntie cousin, I had to call up and say to her, I never said anything bad about Russell, because I knew that he had been molested by a church musician. And I want to let you know I love him. I'm so sorry. And I told her, we're going to stop these people who get away with doing this. They know this and they let them get away. And this is what I'm calling you the anti-trafficking czar. You are the Wazi, warrior sister, anti-trafficking czar. We need to give you a title. And if people don't like it, get over it. The same way they're going to have to deal with Elon Musk, whether we like him or not, as long as he lasts or not. While you're able to put these messages out, we have to back you, because this stuff has to stop. And people haven't quite recognized that this human trafficking is like the second or third most important business in the world. And what you're doing is so important. And so when I say we literally get down and pray, God, save, protect sisters. I don't care who don't like me. Well, she said she did this and her sexual says, look, I'm tired. I've been waiting for someone who's supposedly so straight and narrow. Why won't you guys talk about what she did? When you guys do, I might consider criticizing her. Right now, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to support her, because I have seen it. I have witnessed it. So many people I knew died from AIDS or were molested, and nothing was done about it. So many people, and it's like this TD Jakes who I can't stand, and I don't want.
God.
Okay.
Somebody swallow him up.
It should be called the Popper's House.
I'm surprised with all them butt plugs.
Say Popper's House, dear.
Yeah,
Popper's House. There's
all of
nothing
them
private
butt
about it's the
plugs
Popper's House.
that Gene Deal told me about. I'm surprised he ain't swallowed up one of them.
Hey, Jaguar, like for me, when you the cruelty-free music part is
Yeah.
the part that everyone keeps missing when it comes to your mission. It's like
Yeah.
the music what goes on. They want to. You notice how dumbed down music talk has gotten over the last century since the 2000s have come around. It's all about top 5 or how much money somebody make. They don't talk about the depth of knowledge and information. Because if you're gonna talk about Jay-Z, talk about all the goddamn lines that he stole, not just how much money he made. You know, let's talk. They don't really get into music, and they don't really get into what it takes for somebody like a Jay-Z to exist. All the other
I
rappers.
just had to ask my audience the other morning if they really understood what we lost when Roberta Flack passed away.
Oh my God.
One of the greatest American songwriters of all time. And I said, we're always telling people to acknowledge people because they were somebody, but we never tell anybody what made them somebody to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
All of those great records, but more than anything, first time ever I saw your face and
Yes.
and Killing Me Softly.
Yes.
And I was asking, I hate the fact that she went to the grave and I never got her to answer that question for me. I wanted to know what it was like for her to work with Donny Hathaway, but I really wanted to see if she would be honest on whether or not he was the boy that was killing her softly with a song.
I think that
Always wanted to know.
She said who's killing her softly. The singer that she said was killing her softly is Don McLean, the one that sang My, Miss American Pie, drove the ship. That's who was killing her softly.
Wow.
Donny Hathaway, I did a talk last night. See, my parents, Richard Smallwood, I grew up around friends of Roberta. One of my friends that's died in the last 2 years knew Roberta and Donny. They were tight. They really cared for each other as human beings. Howard University was a cruelty rampant. The fine arts school is a Eurocentric, anti-Black bastion. And my mother is for Howard Fine Arts. I grew up with people trying to make people more white instead of cultivating them as Black people. Okay, I'm just saying, real talk. And Roberta and all of them, we didn't just lose a great songwriter, producer, virtuoso, somebody that fought for the right to be themselves as an artist on their terms. She achieved that. And I got to meet her 40 years ago. And she was really short, Jaguar. That's what blew my mind. Was she even 5 feet tall? I couldn't
barely.
Yeah, she's like 4'11". I couldn't
Her
believe
and Stephanie Mills were around the same
I'm about to say
size.
It blew my mind how short she was. But she was very gracious. And by the way, when you talk about it, Howard University has never really honored Roberta Flack or Donny Hathaway or Richard Smallwood or
Guess
the
what?
Howard.
Guess what? Neither did the Curtis School, the Curtis Fine Art Music School in Philadelphia, where Nina Simone was an alumni, and she graduated at the top of her class.
Wow.
She was supposed to have been a pianist in the orchestra, and they wouldn't give it to her because of who she was.
Right.
And so instead she became a recording artist.
Right.
And you would think that the Curtis School of Music in Philadelphia would still herald that, but the truth is it's mostly white that come out of there.
I wanted to ask you, because you're from Philadelphia, and you have to understand there are 3 sister cities: Baltimore, DC, and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
DC likes Philly more than Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore likes Philly more than DC. but they're still all sister cities. And
Philadelphia prefers DC to Baltimore.
yes,
Philly wants, but when Philly needs to hide from the law, they go to Baltimore.
exactly.
Nowhere
And
near DC. Everyone loves Baltimore to solve or hide from their problems.
yes, DC runs to Baltimore. Now, I was in Philly when Rizzo was in, and maybe a little before you, but that just Philadelphia was an inspiration and a terror to you if you grew up in DC.
Philadelphia wasn't, but Rizzo wasn't before me because Wilson Good was before him. See, they were able to bring Rizzo in to take over after Wilson Good when they forced him to go along with the big booming
Yeah,
of the Move
yeah,
project on Osage Avenue off of
yeah.
52nd Street, West Philly. Oh, I remember clearly.
I told you, I think Pam Africa is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And reach out to her because her health has been fragile the last 2 years.
Do me a
And
favor, make sure you put me in touch.
look, Odell, you'll have the number today. I love Pam. I love Pam. I love Pam and Rashikhan, her husband.
I don't like what the Roots did to that story. They did that. Amir did that documentary with the sons whose parents were removed, who were in jail all of those years, and they were separated from their family.
Right.
And that documentary, it was decent. It came and went. It was very flawed. And the reason why they didn't put too much into it is because nobody bothered to ask the Roots why they did it in the first place. The Roots built their political Black Pan-African stance. We believe in revolutionary, all of that. It all started with the campaign that our manager Rich Nichols started. He knew they weren't street, he knew they weren't hood, he knew they were a bunch of geeks that wanted to be cool. So the only way to fit them in to the rap landscape and make them work and make them stick was to make them revolutionaries.
Speaking of something else fraudulent from Philadelphia, were the guys that started Source magazine. You know them, Schechter. Yeah. Yeah, I went to school with them. They hated me because I embarrassed them when we were in class together. I called one of them a white boy. And you don't do that at Harvard. I don't care about the Boule. I can't stand them. The Boule, we have a bunch of traitor Black people who would be better off as Christmas ornaments than leadership for anybody. Take that as you'd like. But I was going back to music. Bishop O.T. Jones from Philadelphia. All of the Black gospel music that came out of Philadelphia. I mean, my God. Even those, I thought
going back to Richard Allen.
But I just want to deal with the golden age. Remember the Davis sisters? I was wondering, are they studs? Because they remind me of the Fat Boys. But they were singing gospel. Remember the Davis sisters?
I remember what you're talking about. It's a little fuzzy to me because I was a Clark Sisters groupie.
Okay, but then before the Clark sisters,
I know
the people that I came up on initially were the Ward Singers, and
I know the Ward Singers.
Okay, and now they were crazy. They're some crazy. My cousins used to run with them, and my cousin
loved them.
Said that Clara Ward could down a bottle of gin straight. And before it's like, oh my, I don't know if it's true, but this is what my cousins swore. I mean, the stories I heard about gospel singing, which one of the things he was trashing Mahalia, and you can't mess with Mahalia. I mean, him and I almost had a fight. You have to take the Mahalia back, and you have to take the Sam Cooke back. You can trash everybody else, I'll take it, but you can't have Sam, and you can't have Mahalia. You could run down everybody else.
One of the most under-recognized and under-respected artists of our life.
Absolutely.
He is. And then like what he did musically, I know some people that's putting this stuff together right there, and the people that are responsible for Sam Cooke's legacy, they're the right people. I'm glad to see that he has some good people in his corner that's telling his story, that's going to put his story out there the right way. Yeah, like for the whole situation, going back to what I said earlier about the cruelty-free music part of it,
Yes.
people to understand how much abuse, that goes into some of the most beautiful songs you've ever heard,
Oh yeah.
and the levels of abuse that these people work. I'm doing some interviews now. Like I interviewed Miss Alex Brown. She sang with Ray Charles, Elvis, Michael Jackson. She wrote the song "Kisses Don't Lie" by Evelyn Champagne King, and we got back to just talking about some of the things that she saw back then. We talking about in the 60s. And like this isn't anything new. Going back to what Jag is talking about when it comes to these new names that we hear. Clive Davis came up in this environment. Leo Corey came up in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
This is an environment that existed before these people were born. But we gotta know as a people, enough is enough at some point. At some point, when someone is coming out, I always say there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages. When somebody who's been there is coming out with a message, and all your ass been doing is punching the clock, driving the bus all day, listen. Because it's these people who don't know a damn thing about music. They think putting a song together is just coming in, getting in front of the mic, the band gets together, and there's your song.
No.
That's what they think.
And they'll be here telling Jaguar, oh, I don't like what she's saying. I don't like how she's saying it. Why she got to say it about them? Man, sit your ass down and listen, because this shit's been going on way too long.
Way too long.
The major reason why the music sucks now is because for so long the best artists have been pushed aside and forced to write and give all their good stuff to certain people, and the people that they give it to are oftentimes victims of abuse, far less talented than the people they're getting the music from, and we get what we get right now.
Much easier controlled.
Yes. Jag, who are some of your inspirations?
I mean,
we can start with female. We can start with females, and you can separate them by genre. So your favorite gospel, your favorite pop, your favorite soul. You can give some, and you don't have to say who's your favorite of favorites. Just
my favorite gospel would have to be Karen Clark Sheard.
Okay.
My favorite jazz would have to be Nina Simone.
Okay.
My favorite soul would be Aretha Franklin.
Okay. And I say that you are the Aretha Franklin of our generation. And I'm saying to you that...
my favorite conductor for women is Terry Lynn Carrington.
Terry Lynn Carrington. I love that woman on drums. Ooh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
She is the best boss I ever had as a musical director and a band leader ever, period.
Jag,
I love Terry Lynn Carrington.
I keep telling people that you are where Aretha Franklin was in 1966. You're about to go from Columbia to Atlantic, and it has to feel good. It has to feel good.
The one thing that has been ever present in my journey since before I became a signed artist, when I was just up and coming and learning and growing, I always knew that there were going to be limits, that they were going to put restraints on me. And for the first time since I started tracking in the studio at 13 years old, which would be 35 years ago this year, this is the first time I actually feel like I'm in control.
Speaking of control, get that phone away from me. It's got that buzzing sound.
Getting everything away from me is what it took. We keep trying to find ways to bend this construct to us rather than realizing that the problem is the construct and you need to create a new construct around yourself.
Real talk.
Let that grow. A lot of people are always trying to make something better rather than just beginning something new. For us to better the music industry is it means to only find a better way of hiding what's wrong or a better way of covering up how inefficient it actually is.
Has to be
That's what
destroyed.
you have to start from zero. You have to start if you want that brand new build. If you want that, the only thing you can do is put an addition on to what is already flawed. If you want to have a true shot at something completely integral, you have to start from the beginning.
True.
You have to start at the root. Yeah.
This comment here, please stop putting all black people together. I don't think we're doing that. We're talking about traitors. If you include yourself with traitors, that's a choice. We're not talking about, we got a lot of good people. In fact, we righteous people need to come together to fight the scum in our group. Everybody needs to remember that this so-called American Revolution, where white folk dealt with white folks that were off code to get to the United States.
Right.
And there are a lot of people that deal with the positivity box. Let's just be positive. Let's just be positive. Bullshit. White people spend all this money on defense and warfare because life ain't positive. There are good and bad in life. There's struggles and there's peace. And the problem in our community is that warfare has not been made on the scum, on the people threatening their sister's life, trolling, harassing, people stealing songs and attribution and harassing people. And we let a lot of this stuff go. And the problem, as long as we're a community without laws and regulations, and forgive me, that bullshit, the code is a leader without defining what the code is, the benefits and the penalties. If you violate, then you don't have anything. And so we need some delineation in our community between the saints and the sinners, the lawless traitors that would sell us out for a Popeye's chicken sandwich or for a little bit of dope or for some interracial freakiness. Those folks need to be demarcated from us. And that's going to be hurtful. If anybody's got feet in both camps, you belong in neither. The scriptures say a double-minded person is unstable in all their ways. You have to decide if you're for what's right or if you're for what's wrong. And a lot of our folks think we're going to just be chilly and be in the middle, and we're going to electrify the fence and make you fall off one side or the other.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I highlighted that comment, because it's like the person saying stop putting all black people together. The first thing I did was ask, did the black community turn their backs on Jaguar Wright? And in all honesty, I don't think so. I just threw that out there. Then we started talking about the music industry. Now we got to understand music industry. We already know why they would say certain, or they will have people out there saying certain things about Jag, or they don't want her in or whatever, because
I can't be mad.
It benefits them to keep that business going. So obviously,
the industry has every reason to hate me for everything that they hate me for. I'm trying to cut off its food supply. I've never seen anybody welcomed starvation.
Right. And that's what's happening.
The thing is, unfortunately, this hungry beast keeps eating all the wrong things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shoot, you sit there laughing, Dwann. I got a cousin that I know, sure enough, sold me out for a dinner at Ruth Chris.
That's what it is. And that's why, going back to what we said about delineation and did black people set out Jaguar Wright? Like, when you refuse to listen to somebody that's been through it, in a lot of ways, you are the one that's selling out. When you're the one that want to attribute your see, let's just tell the truth. Too many black people, not all, like I said when we started it, too many black people are in love with money and status, and they're whores to that. As long as you got a lot of money, you can do whatever you want to do with these people. Like, I always say, hip hop sold out in the early 2000s when they started chasing charts and cash. the whole flash and cash era, the hoes and clothes era, you know, that whole bullshit ass music era. Yeah, the bling bling era is when that's when the people in the early 90s, we didn't care about record sales. What was you saying? You know, as a matter of fact, if you went pop, it was like, what's wrong with this nigga? How he go pop?
Exactly.
See how they did Hammer.
Do you remember how they did Young MC?
Oh my God, yeah, I remember how they did him.
Yeah, they dogged him out.
They tried to do it with Hammer when Can't Touch This came out.
I mean, they kind of got him in the end.
They did kind of get him a little bit later, not right away.
They forced him to retire eventually, just like they did with Vanilla Ice.
Mm-hmm.
They like that little white boy. They like that little white boy until that little white boy thought he was really black.
You know what? They need to bring that song back out. Trump and them could use it.
Ice baby?
Yes.
Get him out of here.
Oh, do we want to tell that ice joke, Jag?
Oh, well, you can tell it, honey, or do you want me to tell it?
I know. I'll say it. I'm gonna make it brief. So
Go
we
ahead.
were out and about, and that's kind of messed up. But we're out and about, and Jag wanted to order a drink. You know, the Spanish guy, he brought her a drink.
He wasn't Spanish. He was Mexican, bona fide.
Oh, okay, Mexico guy. All right. You know, Jag asked for the drink, brought the drink out. You know, the guy could barely speak English or whatever. And Jag said, "Oh, do you have ice?" And the guy said, "Ice."
I
said, "No ice."
I said, "No for my drink." Not for you. No. You all right? You all right, bro?
You know, Jag.
Like for real, like it's about to make me just start. Like when I saw how effective that was, I might just start running up on a couple of people just saying ice to see what happens.
Yes, you know what, Jag? I was doing an interview for Press TV around my birthday about 6-7 years ago. And
Your mic, Doc. Get closer. Yeah. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
You're back underwater again, Dr. Short. I think they're trying to waterboard you virtually.
It's part of what I deal with. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
We hear you. Yeah. It just sounds like.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Just go ahead and spit. You got it. Go ahead.
I was doing an interview at Press TV. And around my birthday, I went with my god brother and his fiance.
Oh yeah, they listening to us, Dr. Short. I know that sound. I heard that. Somebody's spying.
Well, the
Go ahead, continue. Go ahead, continue.
FBI follows me. People think I am an agent. I'm just me. But anyway, and we were in a stretch limo, and this Ethiopian guy with this Mexican guy came up, and the Ethiopian guy wanted to show how he could disrespect us for being Black Americans. So he began cussing at my little brother, who's a real OG. I mean, I'm the punk, and people think I'm militant. No, I'm really the weakest person. My friends are violent, into guns. I mean, and I saw him, I could just see my little brother stomping this guy's head on the curb, like what Rizzo's folks did to Move in '78. If you remember that video. And I was trying to think what I could do before my little brother got mad. And I wound the window down from the limo and said, "My brother works for ICE. That Ethiopian guy ran faster than Jesse Owens." And he had no idea that he may not have liked me, but had my god brother heard what he was saying, and it was in front of him and this woman, he was going to beat that, and there's nothing I could have done to help him. So these people afraid. Now I got a question. Gerald Levert, you knew Gerald Levert, and I got to see Gerald Levert's last concert with Dave Chappelle at the Warner Theater for Dave Chappelle's birthday. His mama, who by the way called me a few minutes ago, got me tickets to see Gerald and to see Dave. What was Gerald Levert to you?
Everything for a long time. He started as my mentor for writing, for songwriting.
Man, he's
Um,
great.
for a
Yeah.
short while, he was working with me in a managerial capacity, brokering deals for me. Um, after I grew up, because I met Gerald when I was 15,
Mm.
and when I became an adult woman, we later became more than friends, and um, we have become very serious. Once upon a time, I thought it was I thought Eddie Levert was going to be my father-in-law, and I remember when he passed away. Like one of the worst
Mm.
memories that I have of Gerald, outside of the funeral that we had for the public, because the family had a private service because of their religion, and
What is their religion?
I mean they Jehovah's Witness.
Oh my God! Who isn't a
You said they
Jehovah
had a private.
Witness?
They had. So what happened? What happened with Gerald?
They had a private service, the public service for everyone in entertainment and all of that. It
Uh-huh.
was held at the Civic Center downtown, um, and in Ohio, and
Toledo? Aren't they from Toledo
it
or
was in Cleveland,
Cleveland? Okay.
and they named the street after him. They brought the sign. Mike Tyson was there. Keith Sweat. Everybody showed up.
Mm.
Johnny Gill. Everybody was there. And I just sat there on the stage watching everybody perform, crying.
Mm.
But
You know, that's
right
interesting.
after he passed, he was coming to Philly, and because he was gonna go pick my ring up from Tiffany's, and we had dinner reservations at the Palm for that night, and we were
Were you
gonna.
in D.C.?
No, it was in
Philly.
Philly at the
So
Bell.
you have a palm in Philly too,
Yeah,
because
I
we
Philly
was a
too.
regular. I
okay,
was a regular at at the one at Abroad and Walnut at the Bellevue Hotel.
okay, okay.
And I'll never forget when the manager at the time called. He was a friend, and he said, "Miss Wright, are you and Mr. Levert coming in for dinner tonight? Because we have your table, and we were going to make some changes." And I said, "Mr. Levert will not be coming." And they said, "Oh, why not?" I said, "He died." And then it just got quiet, and I just hung up, and I just cracked open
Mm.
a bottle of Belvedere, got some ice and some lime, and went to work.
How long ago? That's been about 7, 8 years or longer.
2006.
2006. It was before my father passed away.
Yeah, I look. Remember how University's marching band was with
I was
Gerald?
supposed to be going on tour. That was the first album that Gerald had that they were actually going to have to pay him for, that last album.
Oh God, I'm
Mm.
sorry.
Finally cleared his recoupables.
Oh
He
wow,
no longer owed them any more money. He did everything they asked of him and more. And then
he was so good that night.
I yeah, I know.
He was so good that night. I'll never forget seeing him, and I just knew great things, and then the next thing he's gone. And I
No,
started to think, how did that just happen?
he had just asked me to head up the back line
Oh wow,
that tour, and he was going to give me a 20-minute set in the middle of every show. He said, "I want everybody to see my girl do what she do." He said, "I want you out there. I want you running my back line. I want you to help me run this tour. This is the first time I get to keep all my money, and they got to cut me a check." We were so excited. And then him and Pop Eddie went to Africa, and then he came back, and everything was okay, and he was coming to Philly, and then he was dead.
Damn.
wow, wow.
Mm.
And I don't care what anybody say. I mean, I know because of religious practices, they don't do autopsy, but I always believe that him and his brother were sacrificed. I still believe that.
Mhm.
Um,
The ritual murders are real. And you have to be careful. Even hospitals, Jag, I told people these folks decided they were going to kill me. And in April 2022. And imagine the freaky experience a day. I told people, like, God gave me the hearing. I could hear at the nursing station.
They messing with you again, Dr. Short. You nosy jerks. Mind your business.
No, you don't. Jag, I've had an FBI file since 1981. I almost got into a fist fight with the Undersecretary of Justice. So I've been in trouble a long time. I didn't think it was anything, just a racist man. I don't know. I'm not a tough person, but around racial stuff, you may make me act crazy. And, I'm just tired of this stuff. And you can say something, and if I'm afraid of myself angry because I'm not a good fighter, I'm not tough, but if you make me angry, I'm likely to do almost anything. He got next to me, and I was ready to get next to him. And I'm not thinking I'm in the Department of Justice, J. Edgar Hoover stomping ground. I'm thinking about, somebody needs to beat this devil's ass. Maybe it's me. and so, I didn't realize, it got in the papers a little bit. So I know I've been in trouble for a while. And so that's why when people talk about stuff and they say, why does this stuff happen? Why don't you get this? Why don't you get that? I got an opportunity to write for MSNBC, and then all of a sudden I wrote an article, then the people don't talk to me anymore. Someone went and told them, get rid of him. And that happens all the time. You know what I'm talking about. It happens to you. People it doesn't matter talent. None of that means to think this person is bad. I mean, I've had a minister say, you're bad. You're someone that we can't talk to. And you ask them, well, what crime have I committed? I had this with the border security. Nobody can tell me what crime I committed. They just said, you're bad. And so a lot of people are under this, and it is the norm. And in reality, everybody should have this, and it would be a lot harder for them to restrict the few of us that are speaking up. So most people are cowardly. They don't stand on anything. And that means that some of us, yourself right now, Sister Anti-Trafficking Czar, as I call you, you're carrying a big, heavy-ass lead cross. And there are a whole lot of other people that should be helping you. Even Jesus got some help at the last minute. And if I recall, it's a black dude from Libya. So, I mean, people need to help you shoulder that cross.
You know what? What I've been seeing, going back to your question, Odell, that you said for this, for what we're going back and forth, and to piggyback off Dr. Short is saying, one of my issues is the people who report on music, who had nothing to say about any of this stuff. It's like all this heat came Jaguar's way, because I followed it the whole way through. If you go to my channel, I even read my cards on this situation. I called some of these moves before they happened with my cards. I saw them go from silent to, well, she could be right, to when the Puffy situation happened. Oh, now she's clout chasing. It's like, hold on, how can you clout chase on something you called 5 years ago? like
that part.
And it's not like you jump on it.
The future.
Like, you clout chasing the future. And one thing I noticed you do all the time, like I said earlier, Jack, before you got on, you call out the white Lucy and Grange too. Most of these ambulance chasers are only going to go for the main person. You're going for the people behind the people behind the people. I noticed that on my show, if I put out Puffy 10,000 views, if I put Lucy and Grange 900 views, niggas don't care about the white people that's empowering this stuff. And then when you get the black person to get to the white person, and oftentimes I credit you, because when Puffy was initially charged, Lucy and Grange was charged too. People forget that part. People forget that part. You brought all that stuff up, and then now they came at you on one level, then it quieted down, and then for the president of the United States to acknowledge it, these niggas on the internet flipped. And that made me be like, hold on, that's double confirmation. Like, outside of a court conviction, you see the dude getting put in jail, you see the president of the United States acknowledging it, and all you got is heat, and you're covering music And if you cover music, you know what's going on. Courtney Love talk about Ted Nugent fucking her when she was 12 on the Howard Stern show. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, I don't get it.
And you know what I get? A lot of this is cowardice. A lot of folks will only talk smack to a fellow slave. They don't speak truth to master because they want some cornbread and fat back, and they don't want to lose their cabin. And so in reality, the reason that Jaguar is a problem is Jaguar is expensive. Okay, you can't, you have to take up your cross to deal with her. And most people are cheap. They don't want to carry a cross. In the words of that great predator who died on my birthday, James Cleveland, no cross, no crown. If people can't carry the cross of truth, that we need to stop this garbage in our community that is eating us up like a cancer from within, then we'll never get the crown of reparations, real freedom, or wholeness, or healthiness as a people.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. For me, what really trips me out is I say the black errand boy, and then I say the Caucasian kingmaker. I say that the Caucasian kingmaker put this black boy in position to be the rock that he throws at the community so he can hide his precious white hands. I show everybody that and tell everybody the only way for us to stop these people is for us to take away their toys. But then when I tell them that the toy is Jay-Z, when I tell them that the toy is Diddy, when I tell them that the toy is Rick Ross, when I tell them that the toy is this, you know what I mean? And I said, I gotta take all of them away so they can stop hurting everybody. They say, why you want to bring our people down?
But Jag, let's be real. Let's talk about something. Because I had to go off on a friend of mine. Because every now and then, I'm a straight shooter. If I like you, I like you. So, I don't get much. I may get a little bit of hate. Somebody said something. And I don't know, if I like you, I like you. I'll fight for someone I like. I mean, all of a sudden, I don't like for people to criticize people I care about. I've been through a lot. So have you. This person saying, Jaguar, she's helping people take black wealth. And I says, it's not black people's wealth. It's that sellout coon's crumbs that he gets while the other people get all the real money. I says, and let me say something to you. For those crumbs that he has, are you ready for the hatred that you're going to encounter when they start showing these dark web videos of grown black men running trains on white children, white girls and boys? I'm a Southerner. They're not going to say those were people at a Diddy party that raped those kids. They're going to say niggas raped those kids. Mm-hmm. All of us will collectively pay, and there won't be any amount of that black wealth that devil will spend to protect you or help you when people come after you for him. Black people caught hell. I didn't say OJ did it, but black people are still catching hell for OJ.
Uh-huh.
Still.
Okay, we're still paying for OJ. OJ didn't even do it, although he's stupid. Probably knew who he didn't pay the coke bill for his old switch-hitting wife and Faye Resnick. We're still paying for OJ. You see the new thing on Netflix? They're still pushing that narrative. And so when this Diddy thing drops, if there's even one scene of one white child, one white woman, one adult, anyone white being violated, even if it's a mixed group of people, they'll only hone in on the black people in that, and we will collectively be called on to pay for it. And you'll never know who wants to do a mass shooting on us over something party don't even try to go to. Those black folks that got slaughtered in the store in Buffalo because of that crazy homoerotic incel.
Yeah.
Dylan Rolfe, sister, targeted me in March of 2015. That's how I knew about Dylan Rolfe, and I started wondering if he was going to mass murder black folk. And people laughed at me. And I told people it's going to happen in May. And again, to your sister, Crazy Empress Filet in Philadelphia, on her show on a Saturday, I said it's going to happen soon, within a week or so. It's going to shoot up to 20 people, kill about 10. One of them is going to be a black political preacher in a church somewhere down south. And everybody laughed at me. And then it happened. Right? People don't understand. You're saving lives, dear.
Yeah.
You being a face, a black voice, saying we don't like this stuff, is saving us, as compared to those NABJ tramps that went and pissed in Donald Trump's face. White folk who are racist and armed to the teeth hate our guts, and we're not ready for white onslaught. We need to be strategic.
Yep.
And sister, you're saving lives. God bless you. I wish I could do more for you.
Yeah.
I want to. It's in my heart.
Doctor, you sitting here with me right now, having this conversation with me right now publicly, shows more confidence than any of the people that I've worked with in the industry, or at least a good 85% of them. It's more acknowledgement that they've ever given me, and everything that I'm doing is to help free them. Even though they'll sit there and allow me to be slandered, even though they'll sit there while people are in the room and lying on me and then call me, ooh, Jag, such and such said such and such and such. Yeah, but what did you say?
You told nothing but
You know what I mean?
You ain't done nothing but told the truth.
Dr. Short, real quick. I wanted to interject real quick, because going back to what Jag just said, why she goes after the black people. Remember 5 years ago when you and I first started doing these online shows? 5 years ago, Dr. Short and I had a phone conversation off the phone, and we did it we talked about it on air too, because we talk about the Congressional Black Caucus. We talked about we go in on all these Negroes, and we said almost the exact words you said, Jag. And the fact that on my channel we was getting a lot of heat. Why do you go after the Congressional Black Caucus and Karen Bass and Letitia James? These people, it was for the same reason. You got these black shills who do nothing but sell black people out. They're the face of black people. These Joy Reids, these kind of people.
My God.
Yeah, looking like Cynthia Erivo and Cisco had a child together. So
that part.
You got these people. These people are the face of black people. They go around marching and talking on behalf of blackness and black, blickety black, but they do nothing but hurt black people. They get rich, their pockets get full, but the rest of us suffer. And they, on top of them getting rich, they also go so far as to make sure none of the rest of us don't. Suge Knight talked about Puffy being the one that called with him when they were going to come together and do the distribution.
You mean Jay-Z, just like Sammy Davis Jr. did to James Brown and Sam Cooke?
Yes, exactly. It's like the same thing. Because Dr. Short, he's gone in on what's the Calypso singer actor? You know who I'm talking about? Bella Fonte. Yeah, and so when Dr. Short says these things, right? Like, so when you came out doing what you was talking, man, I called Dr. Short like, hey, you heard Jaguar Wright? She's doing in music what you and your mission has been trying to do in politics. I was going to say one thing before I shut up. Black people, the way this system works is they put black pawns in the face of us, in front of us. The same way they were doing it in Boston in 1776 when this place first became a country. You put the black ones out there first. They're the ones who do all the talking. They're the ones who do all the manipulating. When I interviewed Mr. Bobby Rush, he talked about Willie Dixon taking credits and music out of Muddy Waters and everybody else's pockets. It's always us. And so what I get when I add two and two together, they can't do it without one of us being the front. So let's attack the ones who are in the front. If you choose to be a nigga that's going to be the front boy for a white boy, then no, you're not going to be clean just because you're rich. We're going to look at you extra hard. Period.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Dwann, you're 100% right. And someone mentioned this Church of Satan and Sammy Davis. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. See, this is a metaphysical struggle between good and evil, light and dark. It's not even a racial thing. And that's why if Jaguar gets some honor from some white folk who hate trafficking, bless God. Because look, there's a congresswoman from Missouri that you've got to connect to, Jag, named Wagoner.
Okay.
There's not one black woman in the CBC that will support any legislation to fight human trafficking if a Republican supports it. Meaning that all this trafficking stuff that Trump was doing in his first term, all of the Congressional Black Caucus refused to have anything to do with it. With all these black girls and boys out here being raped, being destroyed, their wombs being cut out, all this mutilation, not a mumbling word. Jesus did more talking on the cross than they have, and they're called the Congressional Black Talkers, or as I call them, the Congressional Black Circus. And see, so the people
they down with the demonic National Convention.
Of course they are. And what you're doing is busting up the stranglehold on our community. They're fighting over the hearts and minds of black folks, and most Negroes don't think their hearts and minds count, which is foolish. Your hearts and minds do count. They've got us pickling it out with alcohol or booze or something instead of thinking. They're afraid of you because you've got ideas. Ideas scare people.
Yep.
Like our ex-president, Ofaga. When I embarrassed Ofaga on international television over this Ebola to kill black people in Africa, and I called that bastard out by name, and I said, don't use this crisis in Africa as an excuse to improve your golf game, because whenever anything bad happened to black people, Obama went out and played golf. Well, punk Negro, I called him out, and even his little fake birth certificate has come back up, and nobody wants to complete that fake library that looks like a big white penis coming out of the ground. I mean, Obama probably wouldn't go down on it.
It is very phallus.
It does look like it does look like a phallus. An uncircumcised one at that. He probably
all right. Let me pump the brakes.
A miniature Lincoln.
Pump the brakes. All right. Look, we'll go about 15 more minutes. Speaking of Obama, let's just
I just had an idea, honey, before you go. It popped into my mind. Sammy Davis Jr. had a glass eye, and so does Charleston White. And they was both little itty bitty things. You think it's possible Charleston White could be Sammy Davis Jr. reincarnated?
Well, you know who I think is reincarnated? I think Ayanna Presley is Jeffrey Holder reincarnated. And by the way, Jaguar, have you noticed that?
Wait, Doc, hold up.
Okay.
Hold up. Because you were talking about Obama. I just wanted to say something because we're in the same context of black community, Jaguar Wright, are they mad or not? Black community in this country, we got and around the world, we got to stop pedestalizing certain people and having this celebrity worship thing going, because that's what went on with Obama. Obama went ahead and got rid of Gaddafi. You already know what Gaddafi was trying to do. But then when he got rid of Gaddafi, slavery went right back into effect in North Africa. Come on.
I got blackballed. I was in Gaddafi's house in January 2011. Okay. And so I'm telling you, I was one of the few people attacking Obama everywhere. I got blackballed by the boule, which I don't care. In fact, let me do my Obama thing. Jaguar, my problem with you, sister, you're creating a lot of problems. You've been taken good care of. Now, you went out there, you didn't have a hit. You could have went down on a producer. You could have been big. You could have been a contender. But you decided to speak up for minors. Like the kids don't get something out of when they're with an adult. I don't know what possesses you to make you think that someone needs to be 18 before they can experience passion. Young people need to learn. You need to get out of their way. Now, I was president for 8 years. I will
They
recall
got
one time.
songs.
I will recall one time that you came to the White House to perform for Michelle and I. I don't recall anybody like you. And now that Trump gets in, you think because you got an award from him that you're some, hoity-toity sister, but it's not true. Let me tell you something. You need to be a man like Michelle in order for some. Let me stop.
Nah, I was really I was waiting for you to bring it home and just tell me that once I get a penis, I'll be complete. I was just waiting.
Well, no. All I can say to you is I wanted to do that and do Michael Jackson. I love you so much. You're so wonderful. You've got a voice like an angel, and you love young people. You love the youth. When I listen to you, I hear your voice. I think you like trees and animals and youth. And Odell, he's got that great name, Amadeus Wolfgang. And, it feels so good just being in the presence of a great creative mind. You've got such beautiful skin. I bet you he puts a lot of, what does he put on you? He put on myrrh, or does he put on frankincense?
All right, man.
I got my suspicions about that. I'm sorry. Let me stop. I'm just having fun.
Oh yes.
All right. 10 more minutes. We're gonna wrap up because
Okay.
I know Dwann
I
got
hope
some,
you do this again.
I've been
definitely.
enjoying this a
I
lot.
hope that we get
I'm
together
gonna-
soon.
That would be great, but I'm gonna let you guys wrap up. I'm gonna let the strong three,
Okay.
the three wise men,
Yes.
do they think, and I'm gonna get back in the comments. But
Okay.
I'm sitting here looking at this back screen, this backdrop, and the two things that were on my mind, on my face, right then in that moment, was if my daddy was here, he would be having a time and talking cash money bullshit.
Yeah.
And the other thing was looking at my date and saying, I finally got it right. I finally showed up with the perfect and the smartest guy in the room.
He truly is a righteous man. It takes a great man to be with a great woman. And he truly is a great man. And sis,
Do you know what my daddy told me, Dr. Short?
What?
He said, sweetheart, I ruined you and I did it on purpose. He said, you're only fit to be with two kinds of men, a warrior or a king. You'll never be happy until you land one, and if you're lucky, you'll get both in one.
Well, you got both.
I know.
Okay.
I know. See, that's what happens when you behave and you listen and you're not hard-headed. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Sure.
Oh, this was a blast. Bye.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Jack.
Bye-bye.
Jack, I'm gonna send you another link for D. Got some few questions for you on the end, so we'll do another link. All right.
Okay.
I'll send you another link.
You right down. You right next door.
I know. I'm letting you know.
You come in the room and tell me that.
All right. I'll come up there and tell you then.
When you do it, make sure you ain't got no pants on. I see.
Okay. All right. See.
Make me wanna shout, throw my hands up and shout. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
I don't know why I'm frozen.
Oh, that's all good. It's all good. Let's see.
You hear me?
How we can figure this out. Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
All right, cool. So I'm frozen. Yeah, like that was dope listening to Jaguar speak about that. But in conclusion, it just from my point of view, I want to make sure I say they always say Dwann was I'm always very clear in my agenda and my intent.
Yeah,
and my agenda and my intent. I'm a music purist, man. I love music. That's my Black American Music Family Tree. I have my shirt right here. Oh, do you know about it?
Yep.
And I love music so hard. So much. I chose not to do it as a profession, and I'm glad I went that way. I'm glad I just stayed a drummer that gets gigs with friends and does it like that. So now I'm in the space of more so reporting on music I can report from firsthand experience. But at the same time, I'm not bitter. You know, I haven't gone through all those things because I know what that music industry does. And so when Jaguar came out and started talking about what goes on in the industry, she got they always say you start something that you never know who's watching, you never know who's waiting. She inspired me to go harder on what I do as far as the research and everything like that, because it was like, okay, why me? I chose not to get in it, so I can't be the main one speaking up on all this stuff. Somebody in music is gonna have to be the one that does it. And she's doing two things. She's been the one that's in music that's doing it, and she's doing it on the way. You know, she's giving us that Philly perspective. Like I told you before, I've always started saying to me, Philly has such a dope music history, but somebody from Philly gonna have to say it and talk about what goes on up there. I can't do it from LA. And not give it the right treatment like someone from Philadelphia can. And she has, so while people are listening to her speak and listening to what we are talking about here, people need to understand that she's a whistleblower. Whistleblowers generally get, we can't treat her like a Steve Coakley. She's a Steve Coakley of music, She's someone who's giving us a message from the inside, and we got to support it, because if we want, everyone complains about how bad music has gotten and where the music industry is right now. Well, if you want to fix it, we got to call out some of the people that made it poisonous, and people like the names that she's calling out, the white names behind the black names that she's calling out specifically are the people who poisoned the well. And so, you may love these names, you may love their music, and you can keep listening to their music. But understand that music has to get cleaned up, and right now we're at a time to where it is getting cleaned up, and people who are in the way of that, they're going to get called out. Same thing with content creators. When you have someone like a Jaguar Wright doing what she did, and the way a lot of y'all guys reacted and women reacted over her being recognized for it, that's not cool, because you're standing in the way of cleaning out this bullshit ass industry that's been fucking over too many people. So I want to say salute to you, Odell. I say, I know you a good dude. Like I said, we went to the same middle school. I ain't never went to the same middle school. So
I was at Westchester too for 10th and 11th grade too, but I ended up graduating from Compton.
So you was at Westchester too. So so Jag, tell you right now, you got one that went to Westchester and Overwright. My wife went to Westchester and Overwright just like me. I married somebody that went to Westchester, Jag, so I know what Westchester produced. So you got a good one. And I appreciate you, Odell, for what you do, man. KBLA and all the stuff that you do and everything that we met up in the past. It's good relinking up with you, man. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you. And I know you're going to rebroadcast this, but of course, promote your stuff to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Go to so you see the @Dwann B down there, y'all. That's @DwannB.com. That's the same @Dwann B on Twitter, on Instagram, and here on YouTube. Come to my YouTube channel, and that's also @Dwann B on Patreon. Everywhere Dwann B, you can find me. You dig?
All right.
Okay.
Dr. Short, go ahead. Let's conclude with you.
I will go fast. I want everybody watching. This is love to all the people who are coon busters, who are affiliated with the Angry Black Men's Book Club and Salt Ministry. And this was wonderful to be with all of you. And I was just wondering if I could do something goofy before I close out.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to do a Aretha Franklin impersonation. I feel so good since she likes Aretha Franklin. Let me see if I can get this right. Now I'm scared of making it wrong, but remember her song? I knew you'd need a vision in mind. How you pack so tight. Don't know what you do, but you must be really right. We got some place to see. I got all my maps with me. Jump in, take a spin, and take a ride in our machine. Remember that? Take Cadillac. Oh, I love Aretha. My God. So I was talking to the Aretha Franklin of my generation. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for participating. And for all of you guys watching, we can now go back to the Angry Black Men's Book Club, and we can talk about this book, When Rape Was Legal. And you'll realize why Jaguar Wright is a prophet, and she's the most important person to bust over 400 years of abuse of women, children, and vulnerable men. That's why I have to stand with her. I don't care if they had a joint. I don't care about any of that. The exploitation of our people must end, and only we can do it. Stand with anyone that stands with you. I stood with C. Dolores Tucker, and I'm standing with Jaguar. Jaguar, love you, baby. Love you. And by the way, you got friends all over. I got a whole bunch of preachers that are praying. We're going to pray the devils off of you.
Indeed.
None of these people are going to bother you anymore. You be blessed.
All right, Doc. You promote your channel, and then yeah, we're gonna be up out of here.
I'll do one more time. Angry Black Men's Book Club on YouTube. And all you have to do is look for the Angry Black Men's Book Club. I'm heavily shadow banned, just maybe. I got some magic dust. Like, you know, she's like that Santa Claus hat. Must have been some magic in that old silk hat Jaguar found. And I'm hoping it can break this shadow because I'm always being harassed. Y'all need to understand. I took on the President of the United States over how Black people are treated. So I catch hell. But it isn't because I'm a bad person. So Angry Black Men's Book Club, look me up. You can always write me, wrandyshort@gmail.com. Love Jag. I'm committed. I'm in this because Black children matter. Black women matter. Black love matters. Black family matters. Black reparations and freedom. And you know my saying? We must first come together and repair ourselves and give reparations to each other in love so we can go after it and get our motherfucking money. You know that the letters for the Angry Black Men's Book Club is MFM. Like Mahalia Jackson used to say, we want our motherfucking money.
All right. Dwann B, Dr. Short, appreciate both of y'all. And yeah, we're going to do this again, man. We definitely do this again. All right.
And I just sent you a text with the link.
I got it. I sent it to her. We about to get it on.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Good talking to y'all.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. And that was Dr. Short. That was the homie Dwann B. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Yeah, they're on Twitter. Dwann B is at Dwann B. And no, I don't think Short is on Twitter. But yeah, appreciate y'all. And appreciate everybody. I didn't get a chance to read all of the comments and stuff like that, but y'all know what we do. Hit the like button on the way out, and we out. Peace.